limited. Because in this country, we don't only deal with private individuals, we also deal with governments.
Can I ask, Mr.
Yes.
Public sector, it's a business run by government.
Private.
Public.
Public, yes.
Private, it's run by individual
Yeah,
business.
and private
It's
businesses.
individual business.
So in this economy, you might be in the primary sector and still owned by the government. In this industry, you might be in the secondary sector and still be run by private individuals. So if in the private sector, if the private sector is controlled by government, then it is what? The public. If the secondary sector or the private sector is controlled by individuals and private firms or charities, it is considered as what? Private sector. Is it clear? Any question about private and public? No. Difference between the sectors, clear, right? The private sector, extraction of raw materials. The secondary sector, conversion of raw materials. The tertiary sector, services. See that properly, please.
The aim is of the private sector to make profit.
Private sector, yes, they want to make profits.
And the public sector to make hospitals and schools and
For
government.
public sector, services to humanity. They want to make the environment, the society a better place for people.
Yes. To the citizens.
Citizens.
Yes.
I think it's clear. Now we go to the markets. We're talking about a market. A market is a place of contact between buyers and sellers. But for an economist, he would rather say a market is any convenient arrangement that allows you to buy goods or services, goods and services. You cannot only buy when you have a physical appearance, you can also buy online. That's why we have e-commerce. What is e-commerce? It's a platform that allows you to buy via the internet. Is it clear? So in as much as you can communicate with people and discuss with them about buying and selling, it is a market. It's a market clear. Great. Then we have a sub-market. Why do we call it a sub-market? We call it a sub-market because it is a market inside a large market. What do I call it?
Like
market inside a large market. What's an example of a market inside a large market? We have the oil industry, right? The oil industry or sector. Yes or no? Yes. For the oil industry, we have diesel, which is the market itself. We have kerosene. We have fuel. We have shell. Shell. No. Shell. What's Shell? Shell is a company. We're talking about the market for oil. We have gas. So we have different kind of oil. But before the processing into this, it is what? The oil industry. So the market for diesel is what? A sub-market of this. The market for kerosene is a sub-market for this. The market for fuel is a sub-market for this. The market for gas is a sub-market for this.
like a big mall.
One of them are secondary sector.
Oil industry, yes, because they process.
Mr. Like a big large mall. It's a market and inside it large markets.
A mall,
Yeah.
a complex, well, it's a market. No, it's a market. It's not a market. A complex is not a market. It's a business.
A business.
It's a business. It's not. So here, to talk about the oil industry, so let's quickly go back to the oil industry. The oil industry can be primary, secondary, or tertiary. Using the example of BP, British Petroleum. For British Petroleum is involved in extraction of oil. British Petroleum is involved in the conversion or processing of oil into these things. So that means British Petroleum is in the primary sector. BP is in the primary sector because it converts all this oil into kerosene, gasoline, diesel, and the rest. BP is also what? In the secondary sector. Because BP also sells to its clients, it becomes the tertiary sector. So BP is an example of a business that is involved in all the three sectors of of the economy
It means you miss the market is from primary sector and the
to the tertiary
sub-market from secondary sector.
From what?
Secondary sector.
I can't get you.
Yeah, you say the bridge.
British Petroleum
Yes.
has a business here,
Yeah.
has a business here, has a business here. So British Petroleum is an example of a business that is involved in 3 sectors of the economy. And having said that, British Petroleum is not. Can you stop that, please? Having said that, British Petroleum could be considered as what? Is it a private sector or a public sector? British Petroleum.
It's primary and secondary and
Is it a private sector or a public sector?
which one?
British
No, it's
Petroleum.
public because it's British.
British Petroleum is
It's owned by the government.
owned by the government of Britain. So British Petroleum, now we have to know what British Petroleum is about. British Petroleum is a public sector business which also have some little private involvement. But mostly it is a public sector business that is involved in the 3 sectors of the economy. Do we understand? Any question about it?
No.
Now we know what a market is. Any convenient arrangement that allows buyers and sellers to communicate about goods and services. Then we have a sub-market, which is what is a market inside the large market. Then we have the sectors of the economy. We have the primary sector, the secondary sector, and the tertiary. The primary sector deals with extraction of raw materials. The secondary sector deals with the conversion or processing of the raw materials into finished goods. Then the tertiary sector is the service sector. Example of the service sector, we talk about retailing, insurance, banking, education, tourism, and so on. That's all about sectors of the economy.